All right, what is going on, guys? I am going to be talking about recapping the main event in UFC 316. I am really upset that I didn't get out a video predicting and doing a full card breakdown. I will be doing that for UFC 317 for Ilya versus Charles, which is going to be absolutely insane. Especially, too, I'm really upset. I had some things going on in my personal life and just a lot of family stuff to take care of, especially, too, because Sugar Sean O'Malley is definitely one of my favorite fighters. I absolutely love Sugar Sean, but I have to give props where it's due. I honestly, in my heart of hearts, I knew Merab was going to win this, but I didn't expect him to win the rematch in even more dominant fashion than he did in the first fight. Like, it was absolutely insane. That north-south choke was ridiculous that he put Suga in, and he's just a machine. I mean, there's a reason why. Like, he is literally a machine. This guy could shoot 1,000 times and not get tired at all. Like, his gas, there's no gas tank. Or I should say he has an ultimate unlimited gas tank. He is not going to fatigue. He is not going to get tired. It's alien shit. I don't know what else to say. Describe Merab. He's an alien when it comes to his gas tank. And it's crazy because he's a skilled fighter, but he's not like the most skilled. And he's not the most skilled wrestler. He's definitely improved in his striking. We obviously saw, I mean, on the feet, he was piecing Suga up on the feet, which was a huge improvement since the last fight. I mean, obviously, we know the Umar fight was absolutely insane between those two, and he just looks to be getting better and better. And I just don't see who in the bantamweight division is going to beat Merab. Like, this is what this video is going to be about. It's just Merab is very, 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 very good. And I think he could potentially be the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC, if we're being honest. And, like, this coming from a huge Sugar Sean O'Malley fan. Like, but if I'm being objective and just being completely honest, I like Merab. I've never really hated him. Never been one of those type of people to just hate him. I have never been a big fan of Aldo, but Merab is like a very funny personality. He's goofy. He's just cool. Like, I like Merab, and he seems like a good person. And I like Ilya too, so they're boys. So definitely like Merab as a champ. I do think it's good for the UFC. However, like, I don't think I've respected his resume as much as I should have, because it's absolutely insane to go over his resume. Like, if we're looking at this, it's crazy, dude. Like, he beat Jose Aldo. Look at this. This is a great post by Full Violence. But I was like thinking about him, I'm like, damn, he's like ran through everybody. But like, bro, Jose Aldo, granted, old Jose, but still Jose Aldo, then Peter Yan, Henry, Suga, Umar, then Suga again. Like, he's cleared out the division. Also, too, I forgot to mention this. I had to like throw this clip in there because this is definitely an interesting story. So Merab went on Ariel Helwani and was saying that Brad Cantona was the last fight on his UFC deal, and that's basically was the second fight to the start of this insane run. And it's crazy to me because Brad Cantona, like, people forget, like, he won tough. He actually, the fight before he fought Merab, he had submitted Bryce Mitchell to win the Ultimate Fighter, or I think it might have been in the semifinal before the finale, but he had submitted Bryce Mitchell. Obviously, Bryce Mitchell, you could say what you want about him, but it's pretty crazy. Like, Merab was like, that was the last fight of his deal, and I'm pretty sure he took that fight on short notice, if I remember him mentioning that as well on Ariel Helwani. So, man, like, Merab it's just another thing, just a little nugget to add in there. Like, if he doesn't win that fight against a guy at that time who was just on a crazy high of confidence, obviously now looking at them, like, we obviously know how much better of a fighter Merab is. But it's just crazy because Merab loses that fight, he's probably cut from the UFC. Like, that's just the facts, which is crazy to think about. But anyways, yeah, I just thought I would drop that in there. Except for Corey. That will be definitely interesting. That's obviously the fight we're going to see next is Sandhagen versus Merab. But Merab should win that again. And then assuming Merab wins that, there's a couple of interesting fights ahead. We can get Merab versus Umar, a rematch after that, depending on if Umar wins, obviously. We'll see who he fights. I hope we do get to see, like, Umar versus Peter Yan, but Peter Yan's he's fighting Marcus McGee. So that should be actually a real banger of a fight. But yeah, it'll be definitely interesting to see who Umar fights next. And then if he wins, I'm assuming Merab wins, they'll make that fight. But then also there was some things being said about a potential super fight of Alexander Pantoja coming up to bantamweight and fighting for the second belt, and you get a super fight between Pantoja versus Merab. I think Pantoja gets absolutely murdered by Merab. I think he gets manhandled. However, though, Pantoja's kind of cleared out his division. Merab, like, there's going to need to be new challengers, and, like, that's, like, an interest. I mean, there's after Corey, like, that's an interesting fight, depending on if Pantoja beats Kai Kara France, because that's also going to be on the UFC 317 card. I mean, honestly, I don't think it would be that good of a fight. I just do think Merab would win. I think he would win in dominating fashion, but Pantoja's gotten to that point to where he's done the same thing. He's cleared out his division. So it wouldn't make any more sense for him to just not try to come up and try to get a second belt at this point. And just, yeah, that'd be interesting. And then also for Merab, it's like, does he go up to 145 and fight Volk? And, like, I know there's a lot of videos of him saying he would never fight Volk. And I hate that I'm not looking at the camera of this video. I'm really sorry about that. I've just been looking at all these different monitors. But he's always said that he's not going to fight Volk, which I think is really just handicapping him. And that's something with this sport that's really been frustrating is so many of these guys, there's so many fights that are just not happening anymore because of relationships or Dana just can't seem to make them happen, and they're just falling through the cracks. Like Merab, he said he wouldn't want to move up to 145 to fight Volk, which I think would be absolutely a banger. We already have talked about John Jones, Tom Aspinall, and I don't mean to like change the video into this, but I just feel like all these fights, it's like turning into boxing. Like, what if this fight were to happen? When it's like the UFC used to be, the fights that we wish would happen always would happen. They always happen. And it just feels like Tom Aspinall, John Jones is never happening. Ilya versus Islam slipped through the cracks. Like, that's probably just never going to happen. I hope we could still get that to happen if Ilya, if Ilya beats Charles, which I don't think will be easy. That fight, I already broke down that fight. I'm going to do it, obviously, more videos talking about UFC 317. But if Ilya were to beat Charles, I still think, and depending on if JDM wins, we need that fight has to happen at some point down in the future. Like, Islam owes us that fight, man. Like, just for the fans, man. Like, Islam's the pound for pound GOAT right now in the UFC. Like, that is a fact. I'm not even saying Islam's ducking, but he just owes it to the fans. Like, I understand it. But anyways, yeah, I don't mean to go on that rant. I guess that rant comes from just, like, why are these fights not happening? And, like, I just don't like how Merab's like, oh, I'm not going to go up to 145. It's like, well, dude, you cleared out your division. Like, if you beat Sandhagen, then you beat Umar in a rematch again. Then, I mean, dude, if he does that, let's say Merab, if he beats Corey Sandhagen, which I think he will, then he beats Umar again in the rematch. Then he welcomes a super fight with Pantoja and then goes up and fights whoever's the 145 champ, assuming Volk isn't at the time. If Volk isn't by that point, like, that would be absolutely insane. I honestly think he'd become one of the GOATs of the sport. Because he's already the GOAT of bantamweight. He's the greatest bantamweight of all time. But I do believe if he were to do what I just said, defend the belt one more time against Sandhagen, completely clear the division, rematch Umar again, beating Umar twice and Sugar Sean twice, and also Sandhagen, completely clear the division. Then let Pantoja come up from 125, let the 125 champ come up, bam, takes him out. Then he decides, hey, I just let the 125 champ come up. Now I'm finally going to go up because hopefully by this time for Merab, Volk isn't still the champion at 145. He goes up to 145, gets the belt there, double champ. And, like, that would be legendary. I mean, like, if he went on that type of run of, like, Corey, Umar again, twice, beating Umar twice, which will be very, very insane based off of, like, just Umar and, his camp, this Habib's camp, then beats Pantoja, and let's say, like, I said at 40, who would be the champ at that point? Mavzar or something? That's not the most exciting champ. Rob, I think he'd be one of the GOATs of the sport, which is kind of crazy to think about, like, he is just that fucking good, man. He's insane. There's a reason why they call him the Machine. But basically, yeah, I just wanted to talk about, like, comment down below. Who do you think is beating Merab, or who do you believe has the best chance? What do you think, like, will make him the GOAT of the sport. Because I mean, he's already go to bantamweight, and I'm telling you guys this. I'm not even trying to glaze. Like, I'm a big Sugar Sean O'Malley fan, but I got to give credit to where credit's due. And yeah, there's a lot of more fights to go over. I'm gonna be bringing out a bunch of videos. There's definitely some very exciting fights on the way. Especially this week, we got Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. Super excited for that whole fight night card. Definitely want to break that one down. And yeah, but just comment down below. Like, what do you think? What fights do you want to see next for Merab after Sanhagen? Because we obviously know that's going to be the fight. And also, do you think the UFC is going downhill? Do you think these mega fights aren't happening for a reason, or do you think it's Dana? Just comment down below your problems with the UFC. Just would love to see what you guys have to say. Make sure to subscribe. This is Tail Wave. I'm out of here. And yeah, let's